And in the first unit, in this unit, there are total four chapters, and we have covered up to the three chapters. The last chapter which I have done is the human reproduction, and the next one is the reproductive health. The mainly this chapter is dedicated for the humans. So, what is the meaning of health? First of all, then we start the reproductive health. You know that health is something different with disease free. If you don't have any disease, it doesn't mean you are healthy. We have studied in the ninth or 10th class that health is a social issue. If you don't have any disease, it doesn't mean that you are healthy. Disease free condition and healthy is a different thing. And WHO defines the World Health Organization, the WHO defines that reproductive health as a total well-being in physical, emotional, behavioral, and social aspects of reproduction. If you talk about reproductive health, if it is just health, then it is only well-being in the physical, emotional, behavioral, social. Okay, but here we are talking strictly about the reproductive health. So it is a definition given by the World Health Organization, and the improved reproductive health of society requires these some factors like better awareness about the sex related matters, increased number of medical assisted deliveries, and better postnatal care so as to decrease the maternal and infant mortality rates. Infant means that child, that is like newly born child, infant. Mortality means death rates. So increased number of couples with small families, that is our objective. To Because India is nowadays, is far beyond in the population exploitation. Population is going, growth is going beyond the all the limits. So we have to stop the population. So that is, there are some methods which are available, and that is assisted by the government also. So better detection and cure of sexual transmitted disease, and overall increased medical facilities for all sex-related problems. So this is a definition that is given by the WHO. So reproductive health, the India initiated reproductive health program, that is family planning, in 1951, and India is the first country to initiate these action plans programs at the national level to attain total reproductive health. And these programs were called family planning programs, and they were initiated in 1951. And later, they have improved to include more reproduction related areas, and currently they are called reproductive and child health care, RCH programs. And these RCH healthcare programs, it was launched in 1977, and the major task of these RCH are that creating awareness among people about reproduction in related aspects, and providing facilities and support for building up a reproductively healthy society. In this, government and non-government organization agencies, they have taken various important steps to create awareness among people about reproduction related aspects. So basically, these programs have the following objectives. The first I have discussed. The second one is that educate people about the birth control, care of pregnant mothers, postnatal care of mother and child, importance of breastfeeding, equal opportunities for male and female child, and awareness of problems due to population explosion, like social evils like sex abuse and sex-related crimes. These are all the major tasks of the RCH. In schools, introducing school sex education is a very good step to provide right information to adolescents and to discourage them from believing in myths and misconception about the sex related issues. So adolescents should be informed about reproductive organs, adolescents and related changes, safe and hygienic sexual practice, sex abuse, STD, AIDS, everything is well covered up. So these are the aims of the aims and the need of sex education in school. Currently, I have no clear idea whether it is successful or not. But earlier, I know that The sex education program was run in many state level by the state government, but I don't know how much fruitful it is to give that kind of information in the school. So the population explosion and birth control. The topic is according to 2001 census report. This is given in the 900. 1900, the world population is around 2 billion, and by 2000, it is rocketed to about 6 billion. You can say how the speed it was increased in just 100 years. It was increased like from 2 billions to 6 billion. So according to 2001 census report, the population growth rate in India is around 1.7%, and agar, if the rate is just like this, the population is expected to double in the 33 years. And the current population I have checked just right now, it is around 140 crores only for India. And in recent days, you have heard about the news that China has controlled the population. His birth rate is almost zero or in negative. So in India, there is an urgent need to control the population growth. Otherwise, there is a problem in all the areas. Okay, so there are some important steps to control population growth, and it is to motivate smaller families by using contraceptive methods. Other step also that government of India has increased the marriageable age to for 18 years for female and 21 for males. They have given incentives to the couples with small families. Like in the state government has made some kind of policy that if you are only having one or two child, then you can apply for the government job. Himachal government, Uttarakhand government has taken the initiative, like for any kind of election, Pradhani election, you have to be a small family. So the contraceptive methods are grouped into their following categories. I will explain one by one. You know, the India population was nearly 350 million at the time of independence. It reached 1 billion by 2000 and crossed 1.2 billion in May 2011. So it means every sixth person in the world is an Indian. So see the Indians, like one sixth, every sixth person in the world is an Indian. We are growing so fast. If we have not make the education this population bill or to make any policy, make any law for controlling the population, so it will create a havoc in future. And we have already faced these problems. It's day-to-day life that everywhere you find that there's a population exploitation, population growth. So according to 2011 census report, because every 10 years there is a census, like the government of India, it will count the total number of adult population and all the like birth, how many births they have taken. So every 10 years they have do the exercise, but the 2021 report is yet to come. So in 2011, the population growth rate was less than 2%, a rate at which our population could increase rapidly. So what are the reasons for the explosion? That is increased health facilities and better living conditions. Because when we got independent at that time, we have not that much health facilities and that better condition. Now we are having more better facilities. That's the reason for population explosion and a rapid decline in the death rate. Either maternal mortality rate or infant mortality rate is also one of the reasons for population explosion and increase in the number of people in the reproducible age. Like India is having more young persons. So that's the reason that more persons are in this group, the reproducible age group, adult age group. So that's the reason, one reason also that we are having like the population explosion. So society, the scarcity of these basic requirements. So what is the impact of this population explosion? So you know that food, shelter, and clothing, there is a competition now because there are a lot of population in India. So that's why the for our basic requirement like food, shelter, and clothing, they are having we are having the competition. So that's why we have to control the population. For control, like there are many methods, and we motivate smaller families by using contraceptive methods. Nowadays, you can find that mostly couples are having only single child or having two child. But earlier, when we talk about like at our parents' time or our grandparents' time, just 20 or 30 years before, in a family there are six, seven child. It's a general trend. But nowadays, the educated families or urban families, they are mostly having either one or two child. So we should aware people about the slogan like "Hum do hamare do," we two our two, and many couples have adopted a one child norms also. And the government has also increased the legally statutory rising of marriageable age in females like 18 years and the male is in 21 years. This is also one of the control measures, and that there are many contraceptive methods available. Like we will discuss one by one. There are many. So the properties of an ideal contraceptive should be it should be user friendly, easily available, effective, reversible, no or least side effects, and should not interfere with your sexual drive, desire, and sexual act. These are the properties of an ideal contraceptive. Now we'll discuss uh, one by one what are these are the contraceptive methods which are available. These contraceptive methods, they consider in the different categories like natural or traditional methods, uh, barrier methods, intrauterine devices, oral contraceptive, injectables, and surgical methods. So one by one we will discuss. So natural methods or traditional methods. These natural method of birth control involves the prevention of sperm and ovum meeting during the coitus or reproductive phase. You know, when the gamete will form, the gamete, male gamete in the case of male is sperm and the female gamete is ova, and you know that fertilization took place in the fallopian tube. But if we stop the fusion of gamete by any means, if the gamete will not meet, it means there will be no fertilization. So that we can do by there are three different ways that naturally or traditionally. That first is periodic abstinence. That is like if you remember in our third chapter we have studied the menstrual cycle. In the menstrual cycle, we know at the 14th day or in the mid of the 14th day, mid of the cycle, there is ovulation due to the LH increase by the anterior pituitary. So that periods are very fertile. So we should avoid the coitus from the day at least 10 to 17 of the menstrual cycle, because that days like 10 to 17 days are most fertile period because the ovulation took place in between. So we should avoid coitus during that day, that days like from 10 to 17 day. So in this period that ovulation is expected to occur and the chances of fertilization are very high. So this method is called rhythmic method. This method is also called rhythmic method. So the most fertile period is between 10 to 17 days of the menstrual cycle because the ovulation expected to occur on that particular time. It's very high. The second is coitus interruptus, that is called also called rejected sexual intercourse or pull out or withdrawal method. Actually, in this method, the male person, that is, he withdraw the penis from vagina just before ejaculation, so that the semen is not deposited in the vagina. Like insemination will not took place. If there is no insemination, so it means there will be no sperm in the vagina. So it's a one of the natural methods of stopping meeting the sperm and ova. The third one is the lactational amenorrhea, as the name suggests. Lactational, that comes from the lactose, that is sugar present in the milk. It is the absence of menstruation during the period of intense lactation followed parturition. After the baby birth, when there is an intense lactation, like uh, intense production of milk in the mammary gland, so at that time there is a absence of menstruation. So that period is also safe. But you know, during that time, ovulation does not take place, and the chances of conceptions are nil. And this method is reliable for maximum of 6 months after delivery. And the main advantage of all these uh, natural or traditional methods is that they don't have any side effects. Okay, but the major disadvantage of these that they are not reliable. They are not 100% reliable, as they depend upon chance. The chances are there. Like you cannot guess periodic absence, coitus interruptus, lactation anemia. They are not sure. So there is a chance that you will fail. Okay, so but the most important thing that most advantage is that there is no side effect. You are not using any chemical thing or any hormone or any other thing. So that's the best method. Uh, that is in detail, like periodic abstinence we have discussed, like avoid coitus from day 10 to 17 of the menstrual cycle because it is the most fertile period. Coitus interruptus like withdrawal penis from the vagina just before ejaculation to avoid insemination. Lactation amenorrhea in the absence of menstrual cycle and ovulation due to intense lactation after parturition. Fully breastfeeding increase lactation. This method helps to prevent conception, and this is effective up to 6 months. I have discussed the thing. Now the second method is barrier method. These methods, these methods are based on the prevention of ovum and sperm from physically meeting with the help of barrier. We are using some kind of barrier. These barriers can be mechanical or chemical, and they are used by both male and females. So basically, example they've given like condoms, diaphragms, cervical caps, and valves. The condoms are they are the made up of rubber or latex sheet that covers the penis, and in female also, like it covers the vagina and cervix. The condom are used just before coitus. They also prevent the entry of semen into the female reproductive tract. It also prevents you from the STD. The one of the government brand that is Nirod is also popular in for males. Uh, they prevent physical meeting of sperm and ova because the semen which is released by the penis during coitus, it will be remain within that particular condom. It is a it is made up of thin rubber, so that it will. In case of female condom, we use the term famidom, and they prevent the meeting of sperm and ova, and they will provide protection from sexual transmitted disease also, and they are disposable and can be self-inserted, and thereby giving privacy to the user also. Uh, the barrier methods like diaphragm, cervical caps, and bolts, they are made up of rubber that are inserted into the female reproductive tract. Basically, these are for the females to cover the cervix during coitus, and they are reusable. Like condoms, they are disposable; they cannot be used again. But these barriers, like diaphragm, cervical cancer wards, they are reusable, and this is for the female one. And they are the mode of action, like how they will work. They block the entry of sperm through the cervix. They are reusable. They are having spermicidal creams, like they will kill the sperm. They are having jellies and foams to use along with this barriers to increase their conception efficiency, to increase their contraceptive. Matlab, they don't want to meet the again ova and sperm. The third category is IUDs. As the name suggests, intrauterine device. These are inserted by doctors or nurses in the uterus through vagina. It is basically for the females. And IUD are ideal contraceptive for female who wants to delay pregnancy. It is one of the most widely accepted contraception method in India. Basically, in the rural India, I'll suggest these are the following types, like non-medicated IUDs, copper-releasing IUDs, and hormone-releasing IUDs. Non-medicated IUDs examples are lips loop. Copper-releasing IUDs are like copper T, copper 7, and multi-loop 375. And more. like they have given that non-medicated IUDs, they retard sperm motility. They have spermicidal effect. That's the shape, that how they look like. Okay. The types of IUDs like copper releasing IUDs, they release copper ion, they suppress motility and fertilizing capacity of sperm, like copper T, copper 7, multilode 375. And the third category is hormone releasing IUDs. Basically, these are having the progesterone, and the example of progestert and LNG20. They make the uterus unsuitable for the implantation and the cervix hostile to the sperm. And they also increase phagocytosis of sperm. And these copper releasing IUDs suppress sperm motility and fertilizing ability of sperm by releasing copper ions. And the next one is oral contraceptives. Oral means that you are taking orally, and these are hormone preparations in the form of pills. And the major feature, like they are of two types, either combined pills and mini pills. Like combined pills, they are having Mala D or Mala N. They contain synthetic progesterone and estrogen, whereas the mini pills contain progesterone only. And the progesterone which we synthesize is called progestin because it is synthetic. Pills are taken daily or for 21 days, starting within the first 5 days of menstrual cycle, after a gap of 7 days, because at that time menstrual period is there. It should be repeated in the same pattern till the female desires to prevent the conception. So the mode of action is that they inhibit ovulation and implantation and thicken cervical mucus to prevent entry of sperm. Sahili, an oral contraceptive pill that is developed by the scientists of Central Drug Research Institute, Lucknow, that contains a non-steroid called centroman. It is a once a week pill and with very few side effects and high contraceptive value. Pills are very effective with lesser side effects, but definitely they have a side effects because they are having the hormones, and hormone can change many body functions. So Saheli, it is developed by the CDRI and it is a non-steroidal preparation. The next is injectables. They are the same, like having the same progesterone estrogen combination, but as different from the oral contraceptive, oral pills, they are basically in the injection form, implant form, they are releasing, and they are effective for longer periods. And their mode of action is similar to that of oral contraceptives. Either we use progesterone or combination with estrogen. They are used only for female as injection or implants under the skin. Basically, in this chapter, when I taught this chapter, I feel that mainly all the contraceptive methods they have made for females only. They have made oral contraceptive or implants. Uh, that is also one kind of discrimination, I feel. to prevent pregnancy. This method blocks the transport of gamete and prevent conception. And there are two methods: the vasectomy and tubectomy. Vasectomy for male and tubectomy for the females. It is very effective, but the reversibility is poor. Okay, because it is, you have to do operation for that, surgery for that. If you want to again, like, you want the that pregnancy, so you have to again operate, and the tube should connect also, so the reversibility is poor in that case. Vasectomy is for male, that's sterilization procedure in males. In this, a small part of the vasa difference is removed. You know that the vasa difference will carry the sperm from the testis, and that is removed or tied up through a small incision on the scrotum. So you can see the structure that is given on the left. If the sperms will not pass on from the testis, then the fusion will not took place. And in the tubectomy, it is in the same procedure in female. A small part of fallopian tube is removed. If the fallopian tube part is removed, you know that the egg will not, or will come from the ovary. मतलब infundibulum will catch, but it will not transfer to the uterus, and it will not come to the like, it will not available for the sperm for fusion. So there will be no fertilization. So that is the terminal method. But there are a lot of side effects and anti-natural contraceptive methods like nausea, abdominal pain, breakthrough bleeding, and irregular menstrual bleeding, breast cancer. These are the some side effects of anti-natural contraceptive methods. So today, from my part, it is okay. Matlab, I have done that natural methods and uh, sterilization methods. So if you have any question, please ask me. Otherwise, I will ask one question. Yes, I will ask. Hello.